Alright, so welcome back. And I've had to re-record this video, so you'll notice that there's been some changes. First of all, I've installed Steve's DirectX 10 Fixer, which means I can fly in DirectX 10 mode. So we're just making a left turn onto our approach, so it's we're going in a kind of northerly direction. Well, not perpendicular, opposite to the direction of the runway, and then we'll do a 180 and go back towards the runway. Anyway, as I was saying, so DirectX 10 Fixer, so as you can see the shadows in the cockpit now, and various other tweaks as well. And I've also installed EZdok, so as you can see there's a bit more of what they call vibrational bounce in the cockpit, and also I can now see the fuel information, so I can select tanks, etc. And you might have also noticed, in terms of the audio, I've got a new recording setup. So it's a Editor's Keys SL600 microphone. So in case you're wondering why the sound sounds, well, hopefully significantly different, having invested a bit of money, and I'd hope you'd notice the difference. Anyway, so we're heading on out in the opposite direction to the runway, following the star. And then we'll do a 180, and then we can switch over to the ILS. Let's just zoom in on the MFU for a second. Oops, going the wrong way. Oh, that's interesting. It doesn't seem to have actually followed that track. Well, let's just take manual control. If we just adjust the heading, go on to heading mode, and then we'll go left. I don't know quite why that happened. It might have been just a little bit too steep for the turning. Might be just a little bit too steep for the autopilot. But not to worry. We'll do it manually.
Equipment 1632, heading 240 to 1 cleared for approach.
In fact, if we go in this direction, then we can make a left turn onto the ILS. I know it's not quite what the approach says, but we'll do it anyway. Just bring the speed down a little bit, and then we can bring down the first notch of flap.
Aircraft 2040, turn left, heading 015. Left heading 015, on to 040.
Oops. And then we'll make a left turn in a second. Let me just get rid of those. Right, so we can switch this over to VOR1, which activates the ILS, and then we switch, make sure that's on HSI mode, which it is. And then we can make a left turn onto the ILS in a second. I suspect Pro-ATC has probably got very confused and won't give us instructions, but we'll see what happens. Right, so if we make a left turn now. And activate the nav mode. So it's armed, so once we're on the localizer, it should take control, and also we can switch on the approach mode once the localizer is activated as well. So there you go, there's those shadows coming across the cockpit, which makes it just look a hell of a lot better. Really adds to the realism, in my opinion. Makes the lighting look a lot nicer. So let's descend down to kind of 2,500.
Heading 225.
Bring that speed up, because it's just getting a bit grumpy that we're below 150 and we haven't got the landing gear down. Sorry, I was a bit slow to react there. So out select mode, we'll go down. So localizer is active, so we'll switch on the. Let me just zoom in so we can actually see. Actually, I don't need to do that. I can do this. There we go. So flick on the approach. Try and get below the glide slope, because I think we're above it at the moment. Let's go down to about 1800. Negative feet per second. Let's bring that speed right back. Put the speed brakes out. Speed brake out. I don't know why I'm pluralising everything. And let's get that landing gear down. Turn the ignitions on. Flaps to 20 initially. We'll keep on going down, so bring that down even further, so 1500, well, 1000. And what's the rest of the before landing checklist? So ignition's on, landing flaps to land, we can do that. And then we'll turn the autopilot off in a second. Speed brakes we can now retract. The enunciator panel's clear, so we're good to go down. Let's just try and keep descending and get onto that glide slope. And then I'll take over manual control. In fact, I'll take over manual control now, as I've got a good view of the runway.
Glide slope, glide slope.
So he's going to get angry with me until we get down.
Glide slope, glide slope, glide slope, glide slope,
I didn't press Z. I don't. Z? Why am I being American? Z. Sorry to all my American viewers, but we are quite protective over our language over here in the UK. Right, so we're on the glide slope now, so he'll calm down. Right, so we just need to get that vertical speed up a bit. And our approach speed is 107 knots. So we can just bring that down ever so slightly. Just crank. Ooh. Crank my seat up a little bit.
Glide slope, glide slope, glide slope. 500. Glide slope.
That was a little bit too much. There we go, that's better.
Glide slope, glide slope, glide slope, glide slope, glide slope.
A little bit slow, so let's bring it up and let's try and
glide slope, glide slope,
go up so that he stops being angry at me.
Glide slope.
I think I need to turn down the bloom setting for the DirectX 10 fixer because it's a little bit excessive at the moment. But here's the NL2000 Eindhoven. I'll talk about it a little bit more in the next leg. But yeah, we're doing quite nicely now. Just bring that speed right back because we're a little bit fast now. And flare. And we're down. To get those reversers on. And we can stow them now as we're about 60 knots, and then we'll just do some manual braking. Watching the differential brake, it always catches me out. And there we go. So we actually need to taxi all the way back. There's the taxiway only for the commercial section of the airbase is all the way at the start of the runway. So as I've just alluded to, it is an airbase. It's a shared commercial airport and airbase. I don't know why my frames are really... Since I've been recording this a second time, my frames have really been struggling. I don't know if it's the DirectX 10, although I did increase the cloud resolution. I might need to reduce that back down. Anyway, so let's do the after landing checklist. Thrust reversers are stowed. Flaps we can retract now. Ignitions we can flick back to normal. heater static heat off, and the surface anti-ice we can turn off as well. And we can turn off the landing lights. So that's the first taxiway for the commercial airliner stands, but we'll take the second one and go on to the larger of the GA stands. So let's set up GSX as parking, and it's parking 6. There we go. Handling by Vigo. No idea who they are. So like I said earlier on, I'll talk about this airport a little bit more in the start of the next video. But as you can see, it is a bit of a hub for Ryanair. Although there are some KLM airlines as well. I've noticed that the KLM in the cargo area of the airport. But it's predominantly budget airlines that fly to Eindhoven. Kind of makes sense. But here's our stand. So I'll just park up. I've noticed quite a lot of the real-life Citation pilots, they tend to shut down one of their engines quite prematurely, particularly when they're parking. I guess it's just a fuel-saving thing. Oh, I'm used to being a much larger aircraft. I've gone way overshot the marshaller. But yeah, we won't do that because I'm not quite sure I'll have enough thrust to park if I shut down one of the engines. Yeah, he's going to moan at me because I'm quite askew, I think. There we go. So parking brake on, and let's go through the engine shutdown checklist. So the avionics power switches we can turn off. Oh no, those are the ignitions. I can't really see from here what I'm pressing. We don't have any of the cooling systems. The standby gyro, not quite sure what. I can't find the switch for that. The wheels we can chock. Although my keyboard doesn't seem to be working at the moment, which doesn't help. I think that's a bit of a bug with EZdok. I don't know why it does that. Throttles, right, so I didn't know about this, but I'll zoom in a little bit closer so you can see what I'm talking about. But there's two little switches here, or little levers, and they're the ones that control the fuel cut-off. So all you have to do is just click them, and it shuts the engines down, rather than having to use any other method, such as the Control-Shift F1 method. A bit more realistic. There you go, I knew you'd moan at me for being askew and too far. That's the engines cut off, and we can switch off all the other switches. We'll turn off the passenger advisory, and that'll do. Right, so let's have a little look outside. So we're all parked up at Eindhoven, and that finishes the first leg of the Around the World tour. So if you've enjoyed this video, please do like it, or any of the other videos in this first leg series. Also, please do subscribe if you want to watch more of my videos, and particularly more of the Around the World series. Or do add any comments if you want to ask any questions, or add anything to it. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next leg. Bye bye.